Extreme greetings, fellow citizens. This is Mr. Xtreme reporting to you from the Extreme Cave, located here in beautiful San Diego, California. And I'm just going to be doing this questionnaire for the upcoming MTV show on real life superheroes. I'm very excited to be asked to do this, and hopefully I'll be a part of it in the future. We got 20 questions, and it's going to be coming to you in 4 parts. So here we go with part one. Here's the first question. I'm just going to go ahead and just knock them right out. Why did I become a real life superhero? I became a real life superhero because all my life I've always looked up to superheroes. Superheroes I felt represented all that was good, all that was positive, and they were my role models. Um, as when I was a youngster, as well as today, I look up to superheroes. And when I discovered the real life superhero movement, I felt that this was my calling, and that I had to be a part of it. Uh, the drive to go out there and help people, and try to give people hope and inspire people. Just really was really in me, and I felt that I discovered this movement. This is what I had to be a part of and what I had to do. How did I develop my persona and what inspired it? Well, originally my first persona, I was known as the Nag, um, but that persona really, never really developed. It was pretty much left left limited to being online. Um, I just felt I needed something a little bit more catchier than my first persona. So I was, having coffee at Starbucks one day, thinking about the persona, thinking about the real life superhero community, and what I'm gonna call myself, and what I wanted to do with it. Um, and I felt like what I wanted to actually do is try to form a superhero type organization, kind of like a Justice League. So I remember the Justice League um, comic and TV show as I was younger, and I also remember the Extreme Football League that I used to watch when I was a kid, and I put those two together and I came up with the Extreme Justice League, or the XJL. So I decided that's what I'm going to call this organization that I'm going to try to that I was going to form, and I decided to declare myself president and founder and call myself Mr. Xtreme as the leader of the Extreme Justice League. My favorite thing to do as a superhero. There's numerous things amongst a lot. Obviously I like to patrol. I like to do campaigns. Um, but I would say my favorite thing would be the youth outreach, speaking to kids, especially youngsters that would possibly be at-risk youth, and trying to tell them about the real-life superhero community, and trying to give them an alternative to possible negative influences. Give them an alternative to getting involved with gangs or doing drugs or hanging out with knuckleheads, and hopefully they'll get inspired by that and become real-life superheroes themselves, and bring about more positive change in the world. And I really gain a lot of satisfaction if I feel that I can inspire a youngster to do something positive. Describe something interesting or exciting that happened while out on patrol. Well, I would probably say the most interesting thing that happened to me while out on patrol was when Shadowhair from Cincinnati, um, he was down here last year, and we were on a campaign. We were looking for a rapist. Um, this was down in the South Bay part of San Diego in the Chula Vista area. Um, we were, running a campaign, putting up flyers, offering a reward, looking for a sexual assault suspect that assaulted like 4 girls, and and then the police, they got word of it, because there was a lot of media coverage, and they called me up, and they said they wanted to meet, and I agreed to it, and then they pulled up in an unmarked van, and they told me and Shadowhair to get in. And when we got in, there was like the officers, but they were all in plain clothes, and we were wondering, man, what's going on? What is this? And at first it was a little bit intimidating, you know, but it was all good in the end. They made us demask, and they pretty much gave us information that they had, like some secret intel. Um, they had about another real life superhero that they said they found like dead in a ravine. But when me and Shadowhair we inquired about it and asked, they wouldn't give us any information. I don't know if it was a scare tactic, but they were trying to discourage us from doing our activities. And obviously they took our pictures and took all our information, and they said they also have a superhero file along with the files they keep next to documented gang numbers. And I was like, whoa. So now there's a superhero file, and me and Shadowhair are on it. Um, you know, so that was one of the interesting things. I never really had much of a chance to sit down and speak with police and try to, coordinate our efforts with them, because a lot of times they would either be kicking me out of a community meeting, or just trying to make sure that I wasn't like some villain myself. They stopped me numerous times on patrol and detained me and so forth. But that was a pretty interesting moment, something that I'll never forget. What's the difference between a superhero and a vigilante? Well, superhero and a vigilante. Well, if you talk about fictional superheroes for the most part are vigilantes. I mean, even the heroes that we look up to, Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, they pretty much operate outside the law. Um, and a lot of times the amount of force they use is very questionable. Um, but that works for them in the comic book world. But for real life superheroes, I don't think that would work too well. Not saying that there are some real life superheroes that are vigilantes, but I myself, speaking only for myself, I don't consider myself to be a vigilante. Um, I don't go around and I don't violate people's rights or harass people. I feel that I work within the parameters of the law, and I exercise my right given to me as a private citizen. Um, you know, I do want to make my position clear. If there is a crime happening in front of me, and especially if there is a victim involved, yes, I'll get involved and I'll physically intervene, but only with what I'm allowed to do legally as a citizen. You the only time I can use force if I have to defend myself or make a legal citizen's arrest, and nothing beyond that. All right. I think that concludes part one. Stay tuned to part two.